Jason Kelly with Bloomberg here at the Climate Summit for Local Leaders. Here we have it, and I'm here with Kate Brandt, the lead for sustainability for Google. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely,
This is really fun to be talking with lots of different people. Huge amount to talk about at Google around this. I want to go sort of on the news, as they say. Big announcement from you guys yesterday. Tell us about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So going into yesterday, we were already the largest corporate purchaser of renewable energy in the world. But we were able to announce yesterday that we've actually doubled that amount. So we announced 6 new projects around the world, from Oklahoma to Sweden to Chile. These are renewable power purchases of solar and wind that are going to be powering our data centers around the world. That's the equivalent of taking 1 million cars off the road or powering 2 million homes here in Europe. So it's really significant commitment to renewable energy, and we really wanted to announce that in the context of the COP.
So you've been out at Le Bourget where the COP is happening. It's a massive complex. I mean, there's so much going on. As you look around, having so much experience in this area, what jumped out at you as either key themes or surprises that you would want to share?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for us, we're a corporate sponsor of the COP, and we really wanted to do that because we see the voice of business as being really critical in driving towards a positive outcome here. We believe a positive outcome is critical. The science is clear. We need to act now. And so I think the voice of business has been really strong. We're one of the signatories of the American Businesses Act on Climate Pledge, which is the pledge the White House has put out to U.S. businesses. And so I think that voice is really breaking through in a way that I don't think we've seen at other climate negotiations.
So you mentioned the role of business. You are relatively new or newly back to the business sector. You worked in the White House. Talk about that transition from the public sector to the private sector and the ability to kind of work across those areas and what you've seen in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. So in my previous role, I was the Chief Sustainability Officer for the federal government. And I spent a lot of time working with counterparts in business, working with chief sustainability officers, and really trying to drive action and leading by example in the way we ran the federal government, but also in the way that corporations ran their operations. And so it's been really fun for me to come over to the other side to a company like Google, where we've been committed to sustainability for a very long time. It's really baked into our DNA. We've been a carbon neutral company since 2007. We made this commitment to go 100% renewable long before anyone else did. So it's been great to be on the corporate side and to really be at this time when corporate voices are, I think, driving a lot of action.
So you mentioned Google has long been committed to this, and I'd be interested to hear, especially from your former White House perspective, what do you see that it takes to sort of tip a company into that? Google, it's baked into the DNA. Other companies, not so much. Is there a consistent thing that needs to happen, or a consistent message, or a moment that has to happen for a company to convince them of this?
So I think for us, it's been that it actually makes business sense for us, in addition to being the right thing to do. And that's really a message we've been trying to bring here at the COP. For example, we've been driving energy efficiency in our data centers for the last 10 years. And we both get to pass that on to our customers. We did this great case study with the General Services Administration, one of the federal agencies I used to work with. They were able to reduce emissions by switching to Gmail by 90%. And that's one of the services we offer to our customers and our users by coming on with us and using our efficient cloud. But also, we've saved $1 billion as a company through those activities. And similarly with our renewable power buying, it's not only driving new renewable energy onto the grid, but it's actually a great business decision for us. It gives us price certainty, and it gives us fuel mix, which we like. So it's been, I think, when you can find that win-win where it's a good business decision and it's the right thing to do, I think that's where the action happens.
Right. Clearly a theme of today is the local leaders and sort of their activities around these issues, especially given the announcement yesterday where presumably you had to work with local governments, or you interact with local governments. How has the sort of local sort of feeling around this changed? Are you seeing more kind of state municipal leaders kind of picking this up around the world?
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely right, and I think for me, that's another major theme of this COP is seeing that local actor, the commitments we're having for mayors, is really exciting. And so for us, our data centers are key parts of the communities that they're in, and so by our operating in a sustainable way, we work closely with our communities to make sure that we're doing that. So absolutely, we have really strong ties with the communities that we're in.
One thing that we've been talking about a lot today, it's sort of come up in several different contexts, is this sort of generational shift, as it were, to really thinking about these issues in a different way. You work for a very young company in many ways, and presumably you have a workforce that is kind of, this is embedded in their DNA,
Absolutely.
it seems. Eh, How dramatic is that, and is it something that now is just a way of life, and
Yeah.
how do you sustain that, I guess?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I mean, for me, coming to Google from government, that's what I was so impressed by. I'd worked with other companies where you really, there's some pulling teeth, and there's some real education that's required. Whereas at Google, it's kind of the going in position is, this is a part of our DNA, this is a part of our culture, it's the right thing to do, it's part of our business. So I think that gives companies a huge leg up if they have that culture. And I do think, the younger generations get it. It's what they've learned in school. Climate makes sense to them. And I think that's why we're starting to see change too, as people are coming into leadership roles that really get it. I think that's making a big difference too. I totally agree with you.
Great. Kate Branch, lead for sustainability for Google. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having
Really
me.
a pleasure to have you here in the Google Hangout. I'm Jason Kelly from Bloomberg. Great to be with you. Thanks.